Hey guys, today we're going to be solving equations by taking square roots. So the first thing I guess we should warm up with is just taking some square roots of numbers, okay? So why don't you go ahead and see if you could find those, okay? All right, so the square root of 25, well, what times what equals 25? That's 5. So this simply turns into this, 5, right? Okay. The square root of 49, hopefully you know that, that's 7. The square root of 24, wait, what times what gives you 24? Ouch, okay. All right, so this is the kind of thing that we're going to be trying to figure out, okay, and I'll show you guys how to do this. So right now, let's just leave this alone, okay, and let's just list our perfect squares, okay? So, perfect squares. All right. Well, you already know 25 is a perfect square because 5 times 5 gives you 25. You know 49 is a perfect square because 7 times 7 is a perfect square. So let's find as many as we can, as quickly as we can, okay? So 1 times 1, that equals 1. So you can list 1, okay? 2 times 2, okay? So let's do this. 1 times 1 equals 1, okay? 2 times 2, good, that's 4, okay? 3 times 3, 9, okay? 4 times 4, 16. You know this one, 5 times 5, 25. 6 times 6, 36. Okay. 7 times 7, 49. You knew that one. 8 times 8, 64. 9 times 9 is 81. 10 times 10, now we're getting big. You should know this, 100. 11 times 11 equals 121, and 12 times 12 equals 144. Okay, so now 25 appears in this list, okay? 49 appears in this list. 24 doesn't appear in this list, okay? So here's what we're going to have to do. To figure this guy out, we're going to have to use one of these numbers, okay? One of these perfect squares. 144, 121, 100, 81, 64, 49. We're going to have to use those to find if they're hiding inside of there, okay? And this is how you do it, okay? All right, so you're going to take a calculator, okay? Turn it on first, and you're going to take 24, push the number 24, okay? And you're going to hit divide by, okay? And then you're going to look at this list of numbers, okay? And you're going to start with the biggest number first. Can you divide it by 144? Certainly not, so let's not do that. Go down the list backwards, 121, 100. Can you divide 24 by 100? No, it's too big, okay? So really we need to start with a number that's 24 or less, okay? So let's look here. 25 still doesn't fit into 24. 16, is 24 divisible by 16? I don't know, let's try it. 24 divided by 16 equals 1.5. Ugh, we got a decimal. Okay, so clear that. So 24 divided by, what number will 24 be divided by so that we get a whole number? Okay, so we tried 16. Will 24 be divided by 9? No. How about 4? Ah, yeah, I think so. 24 divided by 4 equals 6. Okay, so 24 divided by 4 equals 6. So what you're going to do is take 4 and 6, and you're going to rewrite the 24, the square root of 24, you're going to rewrite it as the square root of 4 times 6. Okay? And then you're going to break it up into two pieces, so it's the square root of 4 times the square root of 6. And now look, the square root of 4, we already know that. The square root of 4 is 2, because 2 times 2 equals 4. So now we can write this guy right here as a 2 times the square root of 6. And that is the square root of 24. Okay? Now we're going to practice this a bunch, so I'm not going to do any more of those right now, okay? I'm going to get to the real heart of the matter here, okay? So let's do a couple equations. So we're going to solve some equations by taking square root, okay? So part B, solve equations. All right, here's our first example. I have, let's try this. Let's do this one. 2x squared minus 40 equals 8. I think you'll like this one, okay? All right, so first thing we have to do is balance this equation. We want to get the x squared by itself. So the first thing we have to do, add 40 to both sides, and we get 2x squared equals 8 plus 40 is 48, okay? Then we have to divide by 2 on both sides, and x squared equals 48 divided by 2 is 24. Hey, there's that number again. Huh, this is great. We get to do this problem again. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. To solve for x squared, to make it so it says x equals, we have to take the square root, okay? So we're going to take the square root of x squared. And if I take the square root on one side, I have to take it on the other side, okay? All right, and so now, anytime you take the square root on both sides, you have to put this plus or minus, okay? Because if I go back up here, watch this. What's 5 times 5? That's 25. What's negative 5 times negative 5? That's also 25. So if I take the square root of 25, 5 works, but also negative 5. You end up getting 2 solutions. So that's why you're going to have a plus or a minus, because it could be a positive or a negative when you take the square root. So here we go. The square root of x squared is x equals, you always write this plus or minus, and then the square root of 24, we already found out it's the square root of 4 times 6, okay? And so x equals plus or minus, and I'll skip to this step here, because, well, no, I'm not going to. Break it up. 4, 6, plus or minus the square root of 4 times square root of 6, so x equals plus or minus, the square root of 4 is 2, times the square root of 6. Okay, so that's how our problems are going to look. That's exactly how our math is going to work for these notes. Let's do another one. All right, how about, let's see, 5x squared plus 24 equals 424. I know the numbers are getting kind of big, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Hopefully you have a calculator. All right, so balance this out. What do you need to do? Okay, good. Subtract 24 on both sides, minus 24. Oh, that's an easy one. 5x squared equals 400. Okay, now divide by 5, and x squared equals, should be 80. All right, so now I need to solve for x, so take the square root on both sides. Remember when I got to this step, I had to take the square root of both sides? So take the square root here, take the square root here. Don't forget to put a plus or minus, okay? Super important. Now the square root of x squared is just x equals plus or minus the square root of 80. Now, here's where we get to use our calculator, okay? So we want to find the square root of 80. So this is what we do. We look at our perfect squares. We look at 144. Can I divide 80 by 144? No. Can I divide 80 by 121? No, these are too big, right? Okay. So you have to start off with a number that's less than the 80. So 81 is still not less than 80. So remember, we always start here with the biggest one and work our way backwards. Okay? All right. 80 is not divisible by 64. Is it divisible by 49? No. Is it divisible by 36? I don't know. Let's try it. I don't know. Let's try. 80 divided by, oops, did I hit divided by? Yep. Divided by 36 equals, oh no, it's a big old decimal. That's crazy. Don't do that one, okay? So 80 divided by 25? I don't know. 80 divided by 25? Nope, doesn't work. 80 divided by, let's try 16, okay? Hey, look, it works. 16 goes into 80, okay? So now we can write down 80 divided, 80, the square root of 80 is going to be these two numbers, the 16 and the 5, okay? So put 16 times 5, okay? And now watch this. X equals plus or minus the square root of 16, the square root of 5, and x equals plus or minus the square root of 16. Well, look right there, it's 4. So 4 times the square root of 5, and we're done. Okay? All right, let me do one more quick one. Okay? Actually, let me do this one really fast. Here we go. We'll do this one. Watch this. Example. This one might be kind of interesting. 10x squared plus 50 equals 200. All right? I'm just going to do this kind of quickly. So, subtract 50, 10x squared equals 150, divide by 10, and x squared equals 15. Okay? So now, we'll take the square root on both sides. Don't forget your plus or minus, okay? And so now we're left with the square root of x. The square root of x squared is just x, right, equals plus or minus the square root of 15. Can the square root of 15 be divided by, remember this, start backwards, 144, too big, 16, that's still bigger than 15, right? So we have to start off with the next lowest number, which is 9, okay? Is 15 divisible by 9? I don't know, try it. 15 divided by 9. No, it's a decimal, okay? 15 divided by 4, does it work? No, it's a decimal. 15 divided by 1, oh, that's 15. So we're just left with this, okay? We can't divide it anymore, so we're done right here, okay? X equals plus or minus square root of 15. If you can't divide it by anything, you just leave it alone, okay? All right, so these are the only numbers you have to divide by, okay? If these numbers don't work, that's it. You can't do anything else. All right, let's do one last example. Here we go. One last one before I run out of time. Okay, 3x squared minus 7 equals 593, okay? Add 7. 3x squared equals 593 plus 7 is 600, okay? Divide by 3. X squared equals 200, okay? Take the square root of both sides. Don't forget, plus or minus. The square root of x squared is x equals plus or minus the square root of. And now let's go back to our list of numbers. Remember, so this is 200, right? So we have to try numbers that are less than 200. So, can I divide 200 by 144? I don't know. 200 divided by 144 equals, no, it's a decimal. How about 121? 200 divided by 121. No, it's a decimal. Okay, 200 divided by 100. That's not going to work. There's no way that can work. Oh, no, it's 2. It did work. Oh, man, what was I thinking? Okay, 200 divided by 100 is 2. So that's what I'm going to put in here. 100 times 2. All right, break it up. X equals plus or minus square root of 100, square root of 2, and that, as you know, the square root of 100 is 10. So x equals plus or minus, this turns into 10, and we have a square root of 2, and we're done. Hope that was helpful. I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.